In this lesson, I'm going to teach you a very important and useful concept of programming, exception handling. Let's start with an example. Do you remember the Celsius to Fahrenheit converter we made? First, we use the input function to take input from the user and convert it to integer using int function and store it in the Celsius variable. Then we use the formula to convert the Celsius to Fahrenheit and store the converted value in the Fahrenheit variable. And finally, print the Fahrenheit. Let's run the program. It asks for temperature in Celsius. Say the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. And we can see in Fahrenheit it is 86.0 degree. Run the program again. Here the user of this program types the input. We do not have any control over it. We understand this program is accepting numbers. What if user types text instead of numbers? It generates an error, and it is a value error. There will be many different situations like this when we do not have any control over the input of a program. And the invalid input like this one can cause errors. To handle this type of situations, we use try except approach. Let me show you what it is. Here type try, all in lowercase, and then use the colon. Copy this block of code and bring it inside of this try block. Then try the except keyword. Then type in the type of error we've got here. It is a value error. Then use the colon and hit enter. Now we are inside of this except block. Here type invalid input. Now run the program. Input 30 here and hit enter. Everything worked properly. Now rerun the program. This time type in some string and hit enter. Unlike the last case, this time there is no error for invalid input. Instead, we have got this message says invalid input. So what is happening here? When we use this try except blocks, first the Python interpreter executes this try block. If there is no error, then nothing else happens. However, if there is any error, then instead of generating an error message, the interpreter executes the except block. We have used value error here. That means this except block will be activated if there is any value error. However, it won't do anything for other types of errors. Let's try to understand it through an example. Say we want to print the ratio of Fahrenheit to Celsius. So use the print function, then use the formatted string. Inside type in Fahrenheit to Celsius ratio F/C. Then in the placeholder, divide Fahrenheit by Celsius. Now run the program. Type any temperature, say 27, and hit enter. Nothing went wrong. Then again run the program and try 0 this time. So we can see there is a zero division error because float division by 0. We know that we cannot divide a number with 0. It is mathematically not accepted. Although we used the try except block, it didn't save us from getting this error because this except block can handle value error only. Let's try another except block for zero division error. Use the colon and hit enter. Now we are inside of this block and print Celsius cannot be 0. Run the program. Type 0 and hit enter. This time the first part of the code worked, that means the conversion part. 0 degrees Celsius has been converted to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. However, this part of the program triggered an error which activated this except block, and thus we can see Celsius cannot be 0 on the terminal window. Let's run it again and try some arbitrary strings. This time before anything happens, program flow jumped into this except block. Let's run this program for one more time. This time the input is 30 and everything worked properly. No except block was executed. So when you are programming, you have to anticipate type of error your program may encounter in future, and you have to use the try except blocks accordingly. That's all for this lesson. Let's go to the next lesson.